Hi Maria, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, it's nice to see you again. I know we've had two previous sessions. I want to tell you that today is our last session, a requirement for my class.
Aw.
Yeah, for my class in NOVA, Southeastern Mental Health Counseling. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to recap. I'm going to recap a little bit on what we have been doing in the last two sessions. I know that our focus has been mainly on stress. That's something that you have been trying to cope with and deal with. You're a mother of 5, very busy work at home. You also do other things outside of the house. You have 2 little girls that are very active,
Yes.
but you do find some support and some help with your children, and especially your older boys and even your husband. And one good thing was in the last session that you had mentioned that you opened up to your husband and you told him about, when you have a bad day, just to express yourself and express your feelings to him, and he was very understanding. So we've made some improvement. You've made some improvement, and that's very, very important. I know I had assigned something, and it was a journal that you had to write down whenever you had moments of stress or anxiety, that you would write down your feelings. Were you able to do that?
Oh, yes.
Yes?
Yes. Plenty.
Oh, you got it there. That's good. That's good. Would you like to share a little bit?
One of the things I wrote was back this. I didn't write the day exactly. It was about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Again, dealing with my invitation people. I was excited because they did the final proof, invitation proof.
Right.
They sent it to me. I gave the okay. I'm like happy. Yes, it's gonna come. Because they told me normally it takes, one of the questions that I kept asking, how long does it take, before I get the invitation? He's like 1 to 4 days. I was like, okay, perfect. Comes before the time
Right.
that my guests to receive them. Perfect. So then 2 days passed. Check my emails because that's how we communicate since it's a company that's overseas. And nothing. I get no reply. No, I'm expecting a tracking number. So I'm like, okay, I'm expecting a tracking number. Let me see. So here I go again, emailing them back.
Wow.
Listen, you said you want to. I gave you the proof that it was okay with the get-go to go ahead and print the invitation, send them to me. What's going on? You haven't even sent me no tracking number. So since okay, I have to wait till the next morning to get a response from them. They were like, oh, we are very sorry, but the small envelopes were out of stock. I was like, wow. I was like,
Wow.
you should have let your customers know what's going on because I'm expecting a tracking number because you said we're going to print them out and send them out. So I'm like,
Of course.
so I'm here and waiting. I said, look, I just want what I paid for. Just send it to me. I was going to write more stuff, but I was like, I composed myself before writing the email and send it to me. But I was able to able to talk to them also through Facebook because they have a page, and I went through Messenger and I was able to email them there. And then they apologized. The next day they said that as soon as they have the envelopes in stock, they were gonna mail me the invitations, and I was like,
Right.
okay, great.
Right.
So but I was really upset because it's a month. I waited a month and a week before
Wow.
getting this and stuff like that. And then I was like, listen, since you guys are delayed on sending my invitations, I need you to switch my RSVP date to the 31st of this month because if it's not done now, I need my guests to have enough time to send me back the RSVP card. So change it to the 31st, and I hope that you guys take care on your end because I already waited long enough.
Right.
So they did.
Well, that's
Thank you.
good. At least you were able to contact them.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, I remember in our last session, another but a good stressor was the fact that you're getting married, and that adds more responsibilities in your agenda besides taking care of your children and house duties and housework that you have. So when you wrote down your feelings, and I see your journal right there, when you wrote them down, how did you feel? Did you feel relieved?
Once I started writing it down, I was writing angry.
Right.
But then, you know, it did, once I kept writing, I was like, okay, why am I being mad here when, you know, it's like, I'm not gonna contribute, or they're not gonna feel what I feel. So I'm like, let me just calm down. And I kept calm and just wrote whatever I felt, you know, in this book.
Okay.
It helped me to write. It's not only for moments of stress, but
Right.
other things, you know, that feelings, you know, that I use it for that too, as well, to journal.
Of course,
So
and that's important, because I know, and it happens with me, when I write down how I feel, I actually write down and I tend to think about, why am I feeling the way I am feeling? Is it really beneficial? Is it going to solve anything?
Mm-hmm.
If I feel angry, and I know you had said that you did feel angry, of course, then it's justifiable. It's a valid reason why you were angry. It was just taking way too long. But just writing down feelings just expresses and lets you reflect and say, well, I don't think that being angry is going to solve anything, like you said. They don't know you're angry.
Exactly.
So the situation, you are the one that is being hurt, or you're the one that is not benefiting from it because you're upset, and then everyone else around you, you know, will feel how upset you are, how angry. So I'm glad that, you know, this assignment sure helped you, and it's always good to keep on writing, because when we write down what we feel and we go back to it and read it again, we say, well, you know, next time if I have a situation similar to that, I know I'm going to handle it different. Or maybe I'm going to handle it the way I wrote down in the journal. So that's good. I'm glad you were able to do that. And when you write, do you always write the negative feelings, or?
No, like I said, I use it to write like happy moments. Like, for instance, I was supposed to. My husband and I have been trying to conceive a baby.
Okay.
So, you know, we've been trying for the past year. We had a previous, and we had a miscarriage, and it was very hard for us. So the doctor told us that after 3 months, go ahead and you could start trying and stuff like that. But, you know, it wasn't happening. And then the beginning of this month, I know I was supposed to be on my time where I was supposed to get my menstrual, and I was like, look, I'm not feeling like myself. So I said, let me go ahead and buy me a pregnancy test.
Mm-hmm.
And so it came out positive. So I'm really happy about that. So I had to use my notebook and mark the day. You know, I was really happy.
Wow, congratulations. That's something to smile about, definitely.
So my wedding, baby, woo!
Wow, well, that's good. And how did you feel when you were writing down? And this was a positive outcome, positive
I was happy.
feeling.
I was really happy. I was like grateful. I was like, look, God is so good, because exactly in this month, March, is when it makes a year when we lost the baby. So
Wow.
God gave him to me a year after. So I'm really happy. I was happy to write that. I was happy to share those feelings there, because that's something that I'm always gonna cherish, because I was like, at first I was feeling, every time, nothing else. I was feeling overwhelmed. Is it me? Is it my age? Is it what is it? You know, I couldn't understand the reason. But
Right.
it was God's timing, so I'm happy.
That's good. So it seems like, you know, and God is a big God, and I'm a believer of that too. And it seems like it was redeemed after a year. Your time came, and God knows what's best for us.
Yes.
So that is wonderful. That is really, really good news.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that for you and your husband. Now, I know that adds on to your everyday life, your wedding. I know we had talked about it in our last session, and that was good, even though it's good stress. And now it adds up how you've been feeling with the pregnancy and tending to housework and everything you do, because you do have a lot of responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you been trying to deal with that?
It's been hard, because every pregnancy is different.
Right.
This one's really kicking my butt. I would
Wow.
say it like that. But I have to be the mommy to the 2 little girls that I have at home.
Of
You know, I
course.
cannot be like in bed all the time, or be like, oh no way, because mommy's not feeling well. They need my attention, so I have to deal with them, be the take the morning sickness out of my face and continue with them. It's like, it's hard because it's really bad, but I can't change that. It's my babies. I need to take care of them.
Of course, of course. And the important thing is the fact that you know where your stress comes from. It's not your girls, it's not your family. It's all the different activities you have and all the big responsibilities that you have. And now with a new baby, that adds on. I mean, it is a blessing. Thank God for babies. But also it's a big responsibility on your part and your husband's part. And I know you had mentioned that you get support from your older boys, and you actually are talking with your husband more when you don't have one of those good days. You're able to talk to him and to express to him how you feel.
Yes.
How have you been doing that? Have you still been doing that?
Yeah. Like for example, now, the other day I was like, I blurred out because my hormones are acting crazy. Like, I'm gonna leave from this house. I feel like I'm the slave and the maid. I don't want to be the maid anymore.
Wow.
And he's like, well, babe. I was like, okay, let me calm down and let me just talk to him differently because it's not his fault, it's my hormones, and then I really don't want to do nothing.
Right.
But like, I'm sorry, babe. It's like I'm really tired. I'm not feeling well most of the time, so I just want a little bit of help. That's all I want from each of you, because it's not only you. You have the boys here. For you guys to help me just a little bit. I don't want to feel like I feel overwhelmed, but I have so much to do, and then I clean, and then I feel like then my daughter started throwing something on the other corner. I was like, okay. So it's like, oh, everybody's old. The smallest one here are dumb. You guys could help me out. So that's all I ask, for you guys to help me as much as you guys can, because it's not easy. For me, it's not easy right now.
Right.
And I apologize to him for saying what I said because it wasn't nice. But, he understood me.
Right. And that's good. And I feel that you were sensitive to him as much as he is sensitive to you, and that's very important. And it happens to me. I like that you're applying those techniques of breathing in and out, just relaxing techniques in order to not allow the stress to overwhelm you, because I use it in my job as a teacher. I have to sometimes stop what I'm doing, disconnect, and just breathe.
Yes.
And just take it from there, because if not, I'm just going to get overwhelmed. And it is a lot. You have a lot of responsibilities. And one thing actually I was going to mention to you about was the fact of delegating, and you already started doing that.
Awesome.
And that is very, very important, because we have to manage our time as best as we can. And I know we talked about prioritizing, what is important for you, give that the most important attention and do what you can do. The rest of the things, they can wait. Your family is important, you are important, your husband, so that's priority. Do you find yourself that you have a lot of things to do besides the responsibilities you have at home?
I do have a lot of responsibility, not only at home, outside as well, because of the church. It's like I have to deal with, making sure that everybody got transportation, that everybody knows what they need to do on Sunday or Wednesday or Friday. So there is more to just home. So
So you have other responsibilities besides taking care of your girls, of your boys, your husband, the house, cooking, cleaning, and all the mother things that we have to do. And that's a tough job, definitely. You also have the church. And are you like a secretary in the church? So that's a lot too. Yes. How do you manage to do both?
Thank God for texting because I'm able to, message everyone.
Okay.
Or even, calling them. But now it's so easy it's more easier to text them than to actually talk to them. So with that's how I manage to do whatever I need to do from home as well. So I can have time with the girls, matches the people that have something to do. Now, when they don't answer back, that's when I go ahead and give them the call because, I always ask for confirmation they received the email and they're able to do what is our pastor is asking them.
Right.
So that's how I do it for now. But then most of the times on Sundays, I let them know, I speak, or on Wednesdays, that's how I manage that area right there.
Okay, well that's good. It looks like you're organized and you have set a plan on how you're going to get the word around and the information around in church on what's going to happen on Wednesdays and Fridays and Sundays. Okay, that's very good. Have you thought, just like you are delegating at home, you ask your husband and your boys, your older children to help you out, especially now that you're pregnant, and sometimes we wake up with nauseous feelings. Have you thought of doing that also for church? Delegating, asking someone maybe to help you when you're overwhelmed at home?
Well, the only person that I know that I'm able to delegate with is the own pastor, because it's either him or myself. But I need to talk to him soon, because like nobody knows yet. I'm just waiting time for the first trimester to pass so I could share the blessing, with everybody else, because I don't want to share it and then when I don't want to say it, but if the same thing happens again, I don't want that.
Of course.
So I'm just waiting.
Of course. And that's good. And I'm sure he'll be understanding. He'll understand. Because one important thing about dealing and coping with stress, because we can't avoid stress. Stress is something we will have for the rest of our lives, especially in this society that's just growing and we have so many roles to play, so many responsibilities. But at the same time, there are different techniques like the journal writing and different ways that you can handle your level of stress. And the idea is for you to be okay. I've always said in all the other sessions that if you're okay, everyone else is going to be okay. I know that sometimes there are circumstances and there is change added to our everyday schedule. And that's what I know you had mentioned in the last session, that for you, change is a little hard to perceive or understand because, it just, not that messes everything up, but it just changes. It transforms everything, your expectations and everything. But I had a good friend tell me that if there's no change, there won't be butterflies. So I thought that was very nice, a very nice quote, and I wanted to share it with you because I want to encourage you that you're doing good things, the journal writing, the techniques, the skills of actually breathing in and out, opening up to your husband. At the first session, I remember you had mentioned about the fact that you don't trust a lot of people. And but then afterwards, you were able to reflect on that and were able to consider, well, why not trust my husband? He's the one that's with me all the time. And that's very important, and you were able to open up with him, and you've been doing that since, and that's wonderful. I applaud that in you. But coping with stress, that's important, because I want your health, you want your health, and your family wants your health too. Now, I know with your two younger girls that they're very active, right? Have you thought of maybe the possibility of a daycare or someone that can take care of them, so you can have some time for yourself, or maybe a day where you can just relax at home, and now that you're pregnant,
Yeah, I was thinking, I already went to my daughter, one is 2, the other one's 4, and another BPK is going to start coming around, so I was looking for, I live in Broward, so there's some, I was looking for information in my daughter's school, in elementary school, because I know that's normally where I would get the information from. But they gave me an email to the BPK, I guess, because they don't give phone numbers out anymore. And when I sent the email was invalid, so I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do, with her, because I want her to get started. I want, because that starts in August.
Of course.
So I want to get started on that. I said, at least, for that, is that half a day, at least she's half a day, she's learning something, And I know they also mentioned to me that they also have it for my 3-year-old, because my 2-year-old will turn 3 in May, Mother's Day, actually. So, trying to get her started, so they could meet different kids and, not always at home, and stuff like that. So I'm off for them. Whatever information I could find to get them started in school, then yes, by all means.
That's good. And as an educator, I recommend that, because they need to interact with other kids, and it's a good learning process for them to, be with others and learn. And learn from other kids and learn to be more independent. And you have I'm sure you have wonderful girls, definitely, that's for sure. Now, I know it's almost over. Our session went by quick today, but I just wanted you to share one or two things you have learned from these 3 sessions that we've been able to talk and you've been able to express yourself. What are 1 or 2 things that you'd like to share and say, well, you know, I'm taking this with me. I've learned it and I'm taking it and putting it into practice.
Well, talking. One of the biggest things that I learned in this, because, you know, normally I keep everything to myself.
Right.
So when the opportunity was given to me, I say this is why I said yes, because I was able to open up to you. So talking is one of the things that I learned, to express myself, not to, you know, to hide what I feel.
Right.
So that's a learning experience for me, right there. That's the biggest one.
And that's good. That's good.
And you know, learning to trust, because you cannot just trust anybody to share your stuff with. So trust is one of the other ones that I.
Right. And now that you're saying you just can't trust anybody, but yet you were able to trust your husband, and now you're able to trust a daycare to take care of your girls, right? We know, and I am the one that believes I can't be everywhere my kids are. And my daughter now is in Orlando. I can't be with her, but I know God takes care of her. And I know you believe that too. So we have other people that are also have a good heart, and they're caring, and they're able to take care of our kids too. And that's great. I'm glad you shared that. I know, again, as I said, this is our last session, but you are definitely using those strategies, those techniques. You've grown. You're able to understand that speaking up and expressing your feelings is going to help you to release that stress or that anxiety or frustration, because it's around the corner. But just being able you to deal with it, that's very, very important. And that's going to help you. Keep on using that journal. I think it's very important. I, in fact, have it. I'm trying to get my daughter to have a journal too, but I need it too, because I need to express, and sometimes we're better expressing ourselves in writing. And then I can always go back, like you can always go back and reflect on it.
Yes.
And speaking up, I'm always available, you know, just because this is our last session, you know, I'm always available for anything, and I'm glad you were able to open up and just to express yourself and to take back a little bit, you know, of what we've learned. Manage your time. Remember to delegate. You have support. You have people that love you. And that's very important.
Yes.
And it's just one day at a time. And if you need further help, I mean, there's counselors available, or pastor also available as a counselor. And anything you need, I'm there for you, and I'll be glad to help you.
Thank you.
Well, this is the end of our session. Thank you very, very much for your time, your disposition, and for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming here for these sessions. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, you have a wonderful life, a wonderful wedding.
Thank you.
And congratulations again for the baby.
Thank you.
You take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.